Everybody wants to find love, but do you actually know what it means to be in a healthy relationship? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. This is 7 Christian dating rules, and it's starting now. All right, these are the rules of engagement. 7 rules for Christian dating. We're about to get into this. Quality people, this is quality life, biblical, cultural, or biblical lifestyle commentary if you're about it. But if you're not, all right, we have a great show lined up for you. We're going to be reacting to article, which is 7 Dating Rules for Christians. It's by Elite Singles, put it out, and we thought it was interesting. So we're going to go through that article. But first, we want to let you know what we are all about. So Quality as a platform was created to encourage you to elevate your lifestyle by adopting biblical principles. So make sure you. The algorithm. All right, are we queued up? We ready to go?
We're ready to go.
All right, let's get into this article. Right, I'm gonna let you read it because I can't read from all the way over here because you got it
Okay.
right in front of you.
I
So
got it.
we can just go through it. We can also just if you want to add commentary on what we've read, but this is rule number 1. Let's just go down to rule number 1 and skip the intro.
Okay. Christian dating rule number 1. Instead of godliness, look for growth in your partner's faith.
What's your
Interesting.
immediate reaction?
Immediate reaction is I mean, I think there are still like things to look for
Mhm.
in terms of godliness that you should look for in a partner, even if they're not like 100% like ideally just
Right.
what you picture as a godly person.
Got it. Well, so the way I took it when I first saw the title, because it says godliness in parentheses, so it's almost like our mantra, our motto is kind of like live godly. So we want to exhibit a life of godliness, but a lot of people walk around as if they're like holier than thou and try to, just stick it to you, and make you kind of shove their holiness in your face. It's kind of what the scribes and the Pharisees did back in the day. And so it's like, look for the faith, which is how Jesus walked, which is how the apostles walked, instead of, the godliness, which was how, the scribes and the Pharisees were walking back in that day. But let's get into the article. Let's see what they're talking about, see if we agree or if we disagree.
Right. As it is stated in the Bible, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. For what partnership has righteousness with lawlessness? Or what fellowship has light with darkness? 2 Corinthians 6:14. But if you're meeting online on a platform like Elite Singles, how can you get a sense of one's commitment to faith? Question mark. The truth is that even so-called Christian man or woman who identifies themselves as such or commonly visits church but does not actually act in his or her life to put sin to death can be essentially lawless. There's no real faith in that person's heart, so belief becomes a namesake. So instead of looking for the check boxes, does he go to church or does he own or know the Bible? Look for those around your potential partner who can speak of their reputation.
Right. Like reputation's is a huge thing. Now, some people get defamed, you know, in a unrighteous way. Basically, like somebody defames their name, and it's unwarranted. It's unwarranted, and there's no merit to what they're saying. But reputation is a big thing, and like we always say, it's like it's about the character of that person, like who they are as a person. And I think that brings about our first question, which is there a godly relationship that you would like your relationship to emulate? And so, in order to portray and what you want to be in a relationship, first you got to know what a healthy, godly relationship looks like, right? So, who are your influences? What does who are you looking at that's in a godly relationship that you would like your relationship to emulate?
You're asking me?
I mean, if you want to take away the question, I was just posing.
Oh, just a hype. Okay. Well, I would say, people that I follow on YouTube, like that share their faith in their relationship on YouTube. I feel like I try to emulate in a sense.
Right.
Yeah, not fully 100%. And also, like, I mean, my best friend Taylor,
Yeah, shout
she has
out
a
to
godly
Taylor.
relationship. So
She's leveled up.
yeah, so I would say that.
But yeah, I think it's important because I mean it goes back to what we were kind of talking about yesterday is you never want to be you always want people that are better than you in a sense in order for you to grow. And so if your aim is to be in a godly, healthy relationship, well then you need to see some godly, healthy examples. Now, there are situations where people are in broken homes and they don't have good examples around them, but that's like what you said, go out and
Find
find,
them. Yeah,
yeah, what you want to seek.
no excuses.
Exactly. So you say you're on YouTube or you see people out here or people that you meet in the community, and it's just important that you have good influences pouring into you so that you can become, what you seek. So yeah, let's get back into the article.
Over time, you also want to observe an expressed seriousness in their hearts to grow and deepen their understanding of and relationship with God. It is this willingness to grow in one's faith, either through discipleship or a community involvement, that you can truly get a sense of their belief. Number 2.
All right, let's get into number 2. Um, let's see. Christian dating rule number 2. There may be no such thing as too fast in parentheses. So I can read this one. The best piece of Christian dating advice is this: too fast is only what you make of it. And so, like the judgment of a person's godliness, look for quality and not a box to check, which is kind of what we were emulating earlier. I would give that a hit. That was good because it's not necessarily like this is popular among girls where they have like this list and they're like, oh, he's got to check this, he's got to check this, he's got to check this. And it's like, well, you may have just skipped over a really good, healthy relationship that would last you an eternity because he didn't quite check one box, but he has good character. He would be a good father. On the flip side, she would be a good mother. She has good character. She will always hold you down. Just because she didn't check one of your little boxes, it's like, but you say you want to be in a godly relationship. That's the other side of the coin. If you really wanted to be in a godly relationship, you'd be looking at that person's faith, that person's character at the top of the list. And then, I mean, yeah, of course you want to be attracted to the person.
Yeah.
Of course you want, there's different preferences that we have, but at the top of that has to be how is that person's faith. All right, so continuing on, and I forgot where I was. When you're trying to assess speed of a relationship and how it's progressing, you want to look within yourself and behind their actions as well for a sense of what is driving the heightened passion and regard.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, they're about to go into it. So I'll just go there. I will just go there. It says, is it just a kind of lust? Is there truly a connection? Or is the relationship outpacing what you know about them or they know about you? So I was going to say, yeah, is it just because is it just because there's just a heightened amount of lust
Right.
that you're just like, okay, snap, snap.
Exactly.
Rather than like, are you guys actually progressing accordingly?
Are they answering, questions that align with your values?
Yeah.
And I think that gets us right into question number 2, which is, do you have godly people in your life to vet your romantic interests? This is very, 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 very important, right? Because sometimes, love is blind. It literally, like just like the show. It seems great, but then when your parents meet them or your closest friends meet them,
They're
they might
like,
say, hey, there's something a little off with this person. I know he's fine. I know she's fine, but there's something a
here's
little
some
off.
red flags I got.
Right, exactly. And so it's important to have people in your life that aren't just, yes men, yes women, but that are actually going to tell you exactly what's best for you and that always have their best interests at heart. So that just goes back to the question, or goes back to that question that we just answered. All right, moving quickly or not often comes with a sense of knowingness and security when one has made the right choice. So if you feel you should slow it down, do a double take and ask yourself if you've been able to see your potential partner's godliness or what God has expressed through them and in them by virtue of their character, which is, I mean, that's basically what we've kind of been hinting at the whole
Character,
time.
character,
Yeah,
character.
the character. And you also got to make sure that they're not just doing stuff just to basically win you over in a sense. Like there's a difference between doing deeds to get praise and get acknowledgement and to be, lifted up and having a genuine heart when you're doing stuff. And so it's important, and that goes back to having people in your life that are able to help you with this discerning decision and vet the people that even your friends, but especially your romantic interests, because you might not see that person the same way that this person sees this person. And like you said, there might be a red flag that your mom or your best friend say, hey, like something a little
Uh,
off about John
yeah.
Boy over there. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's finish up rule number 2. If, on the other hand, there is an intuitive sense you get, but that you just can't quite put your finger on, that there is not enough here yet for either of you to justify such a rapid spark based on very little information or interaction, then it may very well be too fast. So, I mean, I think that's an important point. It's kind of tough to know exactly, is it like they just met? It's kind of tough to
Like the
know what,
pinpoint the time.
yeah, exactly what they're talking about in this article. Like, is
Like
it
yeah.
we just met or are we like hanging
Yeah,
out?
first date or is it
Yeah,
like been together for a
right.
while?
But generally, I would say, hey, you got to really get to know that person before you put labels on anything or say, I'm talking or hanging out. It's just like, hey, like, just get to know somebody and then see where it goes. It's like you don't have to put titles on everything. All right.
To an
So,
extent, I would say you can't just not have a title.
well, yeah, but I'm saying like just everybody's like, hey, you got to get to talking and then you got to do this and you got to do this. It's like, well, yeah, if your intention is to be married, of course you're going to get to the stage of girlfriend, boyfriend, and this, that, and the third, all that. But you, in your mind, it kind of goes back to the godliness. It's not doing things just to do them. It's letting things progress naturally.
Mhm.
All right, let's get into dating rule number 3. And I think just for the sake of time, we're only going to go through 4 of them today. And then on tomorrow's stream, we will do the last 3. All right, let's get into 3.
3 says use social media wisely. For those who think that Christian dating rules should eschew all social media as a means of authentic connection, think again. That is certainly not what is being prescribed here. The truth is, more exclusive platforms with a superior vetting and matching system can bring together Christian singles from all corners of the country in a soulmate meeting that might otherwise have never happened. As many mediums as there are, God works through them all. However,
Wait, hold up.
hold up.
So I think that's a good point that God can work through any, social
Any
media
and
platform
anything.
or dating app or anything. But you got to be careful what you're putting out there, and you got to be careful how you're engaging on these different social media sites. So I just
And
want
how
to,
you're presenting yourself. And
yeah, exactly. All right, continue.
However, one must also acknowledge the perils of technology and social media in particular. So, all good Christian dating advice has to consider what kinds of interactions technology is being used to support. Keep interactions on social media without a flirting or teasing tone if it's clearly going nowhere, and there is no bid from either of you to try and define the relationship in any way. Pause.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that's good
That's a
because it's
level up.
like, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste anyone else's time, pretty much.
Yeah, I've had people who have like, messaged me or, just said, hey, like I'm interested in this person. We've been talking online. And I'm like, y'all just been talking online. Like,
That's it.
do you have a plan to like meet this person? Oh no, like I want to, but I don't know how to go further. But I think it's like a match made in heaven, you know what I mean? And it's just like, don't take those too serious because everybody get like social media people can put on whatever face they want, which is kind of the beauty of social media, but it's also the curse of social media. And so that gets us into our third question. Is your social media a reflection of what you want to attract? That's important because you can't say I want a godly man
And
and
then you
you're
look like a
just
city girl.
and you're all on the gram with everything showing.
Not gonna
And
work.
it's like you're probably not going to attract a godly man
But
like you want.
yeah.
And then you're going to say, hey, there's no good men out here when, but all, I mean, because all these, you know, they say the F boys are coming and sliding into your DMs. If you want a godly man, or the same goes for a woman, you need to present yourself as such. And that's not saying you got to post a Bible verse every day on your story or, you know, post
If
yourself
that's
at
not like
church.
authentic to you, yeah.
Right, yeah. So like for me, it's like I have a bunch of sports stuff. I have, you know, my video creations and I can display my faith through those things, but it's not like I'm posting like John 3:16 here, Hebrews 4:13 here. Like you don't have to do that because one, you should just be, you know, living out the faith, right? And you don't have to necessarily, you know, throw faith in people's faces. And then as you walk through life, then God is going to put that person in your path. And I think actually we're a really good example of that.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say so too because it was kind of like, I don't know. I was like in my purpose, I guess, making videos about Jesus. And then Josh was in his purpose, trying to get collabs going. And then we just happened to have one conversation in the studio. And then boom,
Yeah, there was like no romantic.
inkling at all.
Yeah, it was just like, hey, let's collab. And then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, actually, you're kind of cute.
I didn't
And
even wear makeup because I was like, I'm not trying to impress nobody.
yeah. Hey, if you're live here in the chat, stay tuned for the hangout after we get done with this topic because we're actually going to be diving into how we handle social media in our relationship in the hangout portion. So let's continue.
Where was I?
Just go down to the last paragraph.
Okay. However, if there is a real and stated sense of the fact that a man is pursuing a woman with the intent of a desire to establish a relationship and furthermore wants to make the commitment public knowledge, then that is a more than acceptable use of the social media medium.
All right, let's get into Christian dating rule number 4. It says stay open to a friendship blossoming into something more. Now, hold up. Now, this is very controversial because I hear a lot of people say, no, like he's just my friend or she's just a friend and I only look at them as a friend. And it's like, but if they're like your closest friend, that's like your healthiest relationship, you would think, right? And so, wouldn't you want that to that should be that's going to emulate a romantic relationship in a healthy way. Now, of course, like you should be attracted to the person, of course, but that always trips me up when people are like, "Oh, no, I only see him as a friend, or I only see her as a friend." It's like she could probably be your long-time committed relationship right there, because they're a good person and they're always there for you. They listen to everything. They know you. It's like it would work, but you know, who am I? Let's get into this. One of the best pieces of Christian dating advice, is something that not only Christian singles can benefit from, even non-denominational singles who are looking for commitment-minded partners would do well to remember that the basis for any truly wholehearted relationship is often friendship. Now, I do agree with that.
Amen.
Because
Amen.
in order to have a long-lasting relationship, then you have to have a friendship that is, you know, the foundation of that. It's like we wouldn't work if it was only physical attraction, right? It's
Yeah,
like
that's like nothing.
right. We work because yeah, we're physically attracted to each other, but underneath that, we're friends.
We
And
joke
underneath
around,
yeah,
all
we
that
joke
good
around.
stuff.
And underneath that, we're both, you know, going towards we're both kingdom minded people, right? We're both serving God, and that is bringing us together. And the physical attraction is just mainly a cherry on top.
Yeah, I was gonna say icing with a cherry on top.
Yeah.
Amen.
All right. This is friend. Wait, let's see. Okay, this is friendship that starts off between a man and a woman as a shared collection of interests, invitations to community and fellowship events, or through discipleship. It is during these moments that you can observe one's godliness and involvement of faith.
Hold up.
This brings up a good point because a lot of people are like, well, where can we find these godly men? Where can we find these godly women? And this kind of says, like, hey, go get involved. Like, their churches are always putting on events. They're always doing community service. There's a lot of thriving youth and singles ministries that are putting on events. Go to one of them. Meet people.
I would say, yeah, go to church events and even like other events, because I feel like most people meet their partner through a network of people that they know.
Right. Your
So,
network is,
yeah,
well, like Anton says, it's your
yeah,
net worth. So it's
yeah.
like, yeah. Go ahead.
So if you like go to church events, you make some friends there. Those friends know other people, and then who knows? They might be like, "Hey, my friend's single. You're single. Let's
Right.
hook y'all up."
And
So
most of going back to some of the YouTube relationships that you've seen, like a lot of them are through networking, whether it's at a discipleship event or just, in their community of friends. Most people link up through their network. Even when meeting online, once you move to local context, compatibility, I cannot read today.
you got it. You got it.
Compatibility can only grow deeper. Yet, even Christian singles worry about being physically attracted to their potential partners when all the other pieces of godliness and faith in Scripture. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, yeah, you want to be physically attracted to them. But this brings up our last question, which is more of a point. This is an important point. Could it be that romance is lust and friendship is trust? Now, we'll get into this more in the hangout as well, but this is super important because we're sold this idea, and a lot of this has to do with Disney, that, romance is just what you
Love.
need to have a thriving, love life, which is, I mean, true. Like, you want like romantic things to happen, but friendship is actually the bedrock of trust, right? Because if all your relationship is just romance and the guy sweeping you off your feet
It's
and you
like
getting swept off your feet, then it's like,
you'll never be satisfied. It's like he can't do the
yeah,
same thing.
well, yeah, you're just gonna just
Yeah, it's
have to
gonna be like
keep
he gotta do
leveling
more
up.
and more and more and more.
It's like, but yeah, if it's a friendship, it's like, okay, yeah, we can do this romantic thing on Friday night, a Saturday night. We could chill. We can just eat some Doritos, right? Like, you like the nacho cheese Doritos. That's all. We could just do that. You know what I'm
Amen.
saying? So yeah, remember, romance is lust and friendship is trust. Of course, you want to be physically attracted to that person, but friendship has to be the bedrock of your relationship. The fact is, the quality of godliness is going to be attractive and sexy to one who is truly God loving because the value matters over all other. Which, I mean, yeah, like right there,
Amen.
amen again. Because going back to it, character over everything, and thus beautifies your potential partner. Even if you don't feel a physical spark at first, keep your potential mate close because that friendship may begin to blossom.
Hold
I
up.
think we need to step back there because
Okay.
some would say, "Oh, I'm just not physically attracted to him," or "I'm not physically attracted to her." Bye. What would you have to say to that?
I would say if like the conversation, like the conversation, like something about the conversation was just like, that's special.
Right.
Um, I would say like just keep having conversations and see what happens.
Right. I think as you grow, deeper in a relationship with a person, as far as like getting to know them, I think attraction can grow. And if it grows in that way, then it's like, okay, yeah, let's turn this into
Cool.
something special. But if it's the attraction isn't growing in that way and you still just see him as a friend, okay,
And it
well,
is what it is.
it's what it is. You were just friends, we just friends. All right, let's finish this up. The only thing to remember is this: it is great to pursue women in this spirit of friendship. A man should do so with an eye of cementing it into something defined and committed, which I think that's true because the man should pursue the woman and pursue and with the intention of courting that woman, not necessarily dating. And so this should actually be 7 rules of date or of courtship, not of
Oh,
dating.
you're right.
Yeah,
You're
so
right.
I mean, if we're really being kingdom minded. So, what do you guys think about this? Should it be courtship over dating? What do you think about these rules? Do you agree? Do you disagree? We want to know if you're alive. Remember, right after the end screen, we are coming back for the hangout and we're going to be answering your questions. But before you go, make sure you go.
Like for the algorithm.
Equality Life.
Quality